Hey everyone, Joe here, and welcome to your last module for RAD104. This is going to wrap up your second semester of Rad Tech School, and this is going to be a lighthearted, pretty easy module. It's usually a lot of fun to have discussions with, and I might consider doing that on Friday, May 1st. But let me kind of run down the rest of this semester for you. So for this week, you watch these videos. It's not a long presentation. It's actually quite short. You'll have a quiz on this stuff on Friday the 24th. For the following week, I'm going to have probably a lighthearted assignment for you to do. It's usually a little bit of fun, and maybe we'll discuss it on Friday, May 1st. And then you'll have a test just on this module on May the 8th. You will have a final that will include both semesters. We'll find out how I do that as time goes on. But that's what I'm looking at right now as far as your schedule for the rest of the semester. If you have any questions about this, let me know. All right, now that that's out of the way, I wanted to mention that all of the information that I'm getting for this module is in your Adler book. Okay, you probably have it online. You want to look at chapters 24 and 26. Chapter 24 is professional ethics and 26 is medical law. So if you want to back up what I'm talking about here, read it for yourself right out of the book. They're very, very short chapters. You get a lot out of it. So if you're looking for more information on this information, that's the place to get it. I have also posted this little cheat sheet or chart for ethics, morals, values, and laws. Most of what you're going to be hearing about is going to be ethics, morals, and laws. Values I threw in there because it's really how you interpret ethics and morals and laws. It's kind of internally driven. And so I did throw that in there just for you to see. So this is on Blackboard, printed off. If you like having these kind of snapshot types of things, I like looking at all four at the same time. I can see the similarities, I can see the differences, and it always helps me understand the material a little bit better. So hopefully you get some use out of that. I think it's a good idea, and it will help you study. All right, back to the presentation. So this is just a snapshot as far as, are these created externally, or is this something within us, each individual? And so if we look at ethics, ethics are created by a group that oversee a profession or another group. So the ARRT has written our ethics, our professional ethics for being medical radiographers. And so ethics are externally defined, and if you break those ethics, then it could affect your standing within the profession or maybe even sanctioned. So that's something to remember. Morals are also externally defined. They are usually defined by some type of religious group or something similar to that. And by breaking those rules or morals, really what happens is it comes down to shamefulness and affecting your conscience. So that's morals. Now, out of all four of these, the only one that really is created internally within each of us is values. Okay, values is within us. We read or we learn about morals. We can read about the ethics, but it's really how we interpret those. Same thing with laws. We can look at laws and we internalize that and we decide right and wrong. So what is our conscience telling us to do? And so if we break our values, if we go against our values, that will affect our conscience, whether or not we are happy or proud of what we've done, or if we feel shameful for what we've done. And then lastly, we have laws. Of course, laws are defined externally by a government or a group that oversees a group of people. And so by breaking a law, what could potentially happen? Yes, you might have a guilty conscience of that, but more importantly with regards to society is that you could end up with fines or imprisonment if you break those laws. Now, these four things are often intertwined, especially morals, values, and laws. Ethics, again, are mostly concerned or mostly associated with a profession. So medical ethics, legal ethics, financial ethics, ethics regarding to the treatment of animals, all of those things. But as far as morals, values, and laws go, sometimes you have certain cultures where perhaps morality and the law are one and the same. So if you break a moral code or a moral law, that may be the same as breaking the law that would affect, imprisonment, punishment, things like that. So, and then you could also play the game of playing with your values. The simple example of, if you are starving, and you decide that you're going to steal food to feed yourself or feed your family, even though that's against the law, and it might be against a moral code, how do you feel about that? I mean, you are starving, you need food, so are you willing to break the law? Are you willing to break the moral code of thou shalt not steal in order to feed yourself? So, and that's how values kind of fits into that. So let's move on. All right, ethics. Ethics are externally defined rightnesses and wrongnesses. Now, if you think I made those words up, I didn't. They're coming from the book. But they define the conduct and character of people within a group or profession. So there are, of course, medical ethics, legal ethics, business ethics, financial ethics. You can find ethics for a lot of different groups of people who perform the same function. And so we fall under medical ethics. And more importantly, we have a code of ethics from the ARRT. These written guidelines help us make informed decisions about the delivery of care, of what we can and what we should not do. In essence, they provide us with the norms of our profession. And you've already done an assignment with regards to the Code of Ethics. I had you do it in the first semester. I wanted you to look at the Code of Ethics, read them, and then basically put them in simple sentences. Don't give me these paragraphs of what each code is. I just wanted a simple definition of what you need to remember. There's only 11 of them, and so it shouldn't be that difficult to do. You should be aware of what they are. You don't need to know them word for word, and you don't need to know any particular order, but you should know the 11 things that you should do or should be doing as a rad tech. And so essentially what this does means that, if you're a rad tech coming from California versus Colorado versus Arkansas versus Massachusetts, you're all acting the same way. We all fall under those guidelines. And so we have this set of beliefs and value system that we all believe, regardless of where we work or where we're from, and what school we went to. So all of these things are important, and we all know that we're all going to behave and act the same way, treat all the patients the same way, use the equipment the same way in order to get the job done. And that's what you can expect from a radiographer. Now, will the registry exam ask you about individual pieces of the Code of Ethics? Not really. It's not going to say, define ethic number 9. It's not going to say anything like that. But what it will ask you is which group writes the Code of Ethics. You should know that the ARRT writes the Code of Ethics. They write 22 rules of ethics. You should also know that they take the ethics standards very, very seriously. Before you apply for your registry exam, you must answer certain questions regarding ethics. I do know of people who have been delayed because of past ethical violations. I also know people who were caught in an ethical violation, and they were either censured or they had to pay a fine with regards to their registration. So all of these things are very important to the ARRT. Don't just think that your past won't be found out. If you have something in your past that you need to let the ARRT know about, you're better off to do it now than to wait right before you're about to take a test and they see something in your past and you're not allowed to take the test. So it is taken pretty seriously. All right, and with that, I see I'm coming up on the 9-minute mark, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here for now. The next lesson or the next video is going to talk more about morals, and there are different types of morals that I want to talk to you about. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, set up a Zoom meeting, or talk to me before the quiz on Friday, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.